What is going on, everybody? We are live. I just did cardio and I'm eating meal one and I'm absolutely blasted. But nevertheless, it never fails. Every day when I feel like I'm so sore that I won't be able to go and do like fasted cardio tomorrow, I wake up, get my wife's food ready and stuff, and get her out the door. And then I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm recovered. Everything feels right. I am older, but hopefully the knowledge through the prep will make it a little bit easier. It's easy to do a lot of stuff. Either way, recently I have taken down all of the old PowerPoint videos, everything. There's such a shitty quality. It's just we're going to redo them all. So I talked to Marcel, Tiger Shark. So what I did was we took them all down, sort of like a sort of trying to flex that I would even do that because there's so many YouTubers that are so scared of taking down things and their view ratings go down and everything because all the views that those videos had are now removed from your channel's views and stuff. Maybe it even messes up the algorithm, but this isn't about money, even though I did monetize the channel. But the only things that are monetized are the AI songs, such as the one that you heard opening on the opening, and then two interviews, one with Chase and one with Mandy Moorhall, and that's it. Everything else is demonetized or turned off. That way, y'all don't have to watch a commercial before getting here. And yeah, and I don't know. I knew it. There was a guy named Nick Strength and Power. Not that it's the same, genre, but he's a bodybuilding coverage kind of news channel, and he didn't even monetize. I think till he had 1 million subscribers. The only thing is I can't figure out how to demonetize the channel. Just to go ahead and just turn it off anyway, just so that it looks better, character-wise or whatever. And it's like you can't. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I haven't found the way to do it. I've looked a few times, and I'll scroll around looking for demonetize my channel or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know. If you're using your channel a lot, though, a lot of times they tell you don't want to demonetize because it takes so much to get it back up and running and stuff. So we have some comments here. I was literally just contemplating Captain Planet for real. What's up, Amanda? Good morning, yo. You're the only one commenting. Got 6 other people watching, though. So everybody comment, put a thumbs up, put a bicep little emoji. Even do the robot one, do the robot arm. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm going to be redoing all the videos. I mean, look, the death by PowerPoint's never going to be a final product, and it never was going to be. But I was like, let's see if it'll catch some traction. Remember, guys, we had Matthew 12, 1-8 was one of the first videos. That's talking about Jesus and his disciples going to the fields of grain. But one thing I wanted to do with the channel, just to make it not as typecast, was not have every slide on Christianity. It can't be, you know what I mean? We want to look at Homer. And of course, I'm obsessed with Achilles, as y'all could probably imagine. And so it's like, okay, I need to do more with him, more with Hercules, more with the Christ character that we call Jesus, all that stuff, and look at the differences in that Greek stuff, but luckily I've made some friends since I've started the channel. All of y'all have been always in my corner, which I totally appreciate. Some of y'all are absolute fucking trolls. Doesn't matter. I'm better than you at everything in life. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter. And so y'all can continue to feed off of my stuff and troll the fuck out of me all you want, but I'm still going to be better than you. So it's not going to really matter. And so I just know that me and Tiger Shark and Marcel, what we want to do is redo the Matthew 12, 1-8, Luke 10, 23, Matthew 19, 12, and all the other eunuch things, just to cover them, but like in their own episode, like they don't need 8 episodes for that stuff. We could do that all like in one and then start pulling in other stuff. So anyway, I forgot which culture it is. It's either like a Buddhist or a monk. The dudes that wear the orange up in the Himalayas and stuff. They're monks of some kind. They, if I'm not mistaken, they make these calendars out of colored sand. And when it's done, they wipe it all to the middle into a dustpan and throw it away. And it's these beautiful, just, kind of colorful, Aztec calendar looking kind of designs, but it's not Central American or South American. It's over in the East, and yeah, so that's with myself. I don't have a problem taking a bunch of videos down and redoing them better. And now that I have, what's up, Liber Patter? Liber Patter, he's looking at some cool stuff. I've been sending him some ideas. What's up, Junior Pone or JR Pone or JRP1? I'm not sure how you pronounce the name. Yeah, and thank you so much. I know that some people really do love the PowerPoints, especially my militarized or military wife type friends and stuff. They're all about the PowerPoint. Or people that have been to college, they've seen so much death by PowerPoint that they don't mind them. But this production, 4K camera with different slides and screens and being able to bring guests on for the episode, pre-record it, then upload it so that it actually goes into the videos tab. And then the lives just stay the lives. The lives are unscripted. The lives have, we never have a script for the lives, but we would do a pre-recorded, not script, but just there'd be a layout. My boy Dane, I've been kind of helping him out with his channel, and he's got these long form, shows that he likes to do and stuff. And something like that does help keep you guided when you have this itinerary and stuff, and everybody kind of walks through the material, and you have slides ready to show the same slides from before, the same artwork and whatnot. What do you think about Neil dismissing Tiger Shark as an Ammonite after he told him he found Mary Purple Fingers? Sorry, I'm eating too. What do I think about Neil dismissing Tiger Shark as an Ammonite on my show? I mean, people probably call me an Ammonite, even though, Amon does not fucking like me no more. And I don't watch his show no more. What do you think of Mary Purple Fingers? Yeah, so we have a passage here. It's not, so here's the thing. And this is typical Amon, all right? No offense to anybody or Amon. If you're watching this right now, or if your daughter's watching this, you take it entire texts and condense them into one sentence. Then everybody goes and regurgitates things, but then they don't know exactly where sometimes some of the stuff comes from. Not to say that not everybody's not looking the stuff up, but a lot of people are not looking the stuff up. And then they go into other comments and they start quoting Amon, and then academics have a really hard time with that. Like, I'm not a Laistace. It's everybody keeps repeating that. That's not the fucking text. So don't use it. It's not even a good paraphrase of what he says. You've sent armed men for me as if I'm some sort of Laistace. You can paraphrase that better, but saying I'm not a Laistace never came out of his mouth in those texts. In all the books, nothing. The word Laistace is there, but that's where I think people are getting really frustrated, because all these people that aren't looking up different texts to back up anything that they're going to talk about just comes and spews the stuff into the comments, and it makes it difficult for people that are looking up the passages. So I'll show the slide or the post that I put. Posts, let me share page. I've been trying to find, and we have one. We got Mary spinning purple yarn right here. So the quest for the burning purple, we're going to have a part 2 with Gnostic, Steve, Ali Rowan. And if Myth Vision doesn't completely hate me at this point, then maybe we can get him on there too. I know he wanted to pick my brain about some other stuff, but either way, as a child, Mary was in the temple of the Lord, and the priest was with her. And Mary took the veil and spun the purple and scarlet thread to make a curtain for the temple. This is, so far, this is the only passage that I've been able to find that my friend, or Era Sophia, Ekal 666 here, and Ali Rowan was trying, but sometimes when she writes stuff, she'll write this whole thing out and then she'll go back to look for it and it's gone. And I know what that's like, because I've done that too. And she was trying to talk about this. It's in the Proto-Evangelism of James. And yeah, so apparently from what my friend was telling me, in this particular, let me just read it off the thing there. proto evangelism. But the way that Amon says this material is he goes, Mary had purple lips and purple fingers when she was auctioned off at like he makes it all that one scene in the book. So I think when people interpret this, they're interpreting a summary of the entire thing into one sentence, which isn't necessarily wrong. But yeah, she would have purple fingers here, 100%. All right, where is it? There's a bunch of different places you can read this. I think it's gospels.net was the one we used the other day. Or I could just ask chat and they can bring me up. Of James. Mary working with the purple dye. There we go. Provides the earliest assertion of the perpetual virginity of Mary, so we should continue as virgin. The Virgin Mary in the color purple. Here, I'm sure it's going to be in here. Okay, so in the world of art, the Virgin Mary most often depicted in a blue or red clothing. Well, she's depicted with white clothing with a blue or red sindon wrapped into her clothing as well. Sometimes I am interested, however, in the associations that Mary has with the color purple. It's not terribly common to see Mary depicted in purple, even though there's interesting symbolism and iconography associated with the color of the Virgin. One depiction of Mary in purple, borderline indigo, is particularly like an encaustic icon from the 6th century Virgin with child and saints. So that recent conversation. Oh, is this? Okay, well, I've seen this picture a few times. But this isn't, okay, proto-evangelism. James, she takes me found here. There's an interesting mosaic. Okay. Proto-evangelism, James. All right. His wife Anna mourned 2 mornings. Prayer shall be my bringing offerings against the rumors. Bring offerings and prayer shall be mine. So I'm going, the Lord is at hand, and offers you more. But take this headband, and a woman made it give it to me, and the preference should wear it, because I am a maid brought in very low. If you're a wicked person given to you and coming to me assurance, and I'm not seeing that quote there, but I think it is here. Amon is doing BS to get people rage debunking of him while he mocks his audience. Yes, that's what I have been saying in the last episode, and sort of the episode before that is it's a dinner for schmucks. It's dinner for schmucks. So if you're the one who knows what's going on, you come here and it's entertaining to see everybody in the comments. Oh God, great artwork, Chewy, and just sort of cheering on this. I mean, look, I'm not saying he's done anything with minors, but his daughter makes pictures of minors holding their tongues out as if somebody had purple splooge on to the. You see what I'm saying? So like, I almost feel like he's borderline breaking the law. Like not a child abuse, but like I don't know what you would call that. I feel like you get your fucking kids taken away for this shit. Like, I know that he won the case with his psychotic fucking wife who wanted to poison his kids, but like you can lose your kids for having her involved in making these pictures and stuff. So once that all kind of clicked, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because like if my daughter's just a couple years younger than Chewy, for example, if she was right here off camera and making all these disgusting pictures, her mom would call fucking CPS and have her taken away, and she'd come get her. If her grandma on that side saw that, oh my God. So the only reason it's okay is because they're doing a Bruno to everybody. They're pretending to be gay so that they can get you to engage with him in a conversation where you let some of your guard and walls down for footage of you doing insanely embarrassing shit. So for example, the scene in Bruno when he goes to the karate dojo. Now, Bruno obviously is a pretend gay Austrian pop reporter, fashion reporter. And so it was a show, the Ali G show, and Borat and Bruno's all the same character. I'm sure y'all know who I'm talking about. Sacha Baron Cohen, he would go places and get people to do insanely embarrassing shit, all with a slight spin that didn't make it completely. So, like, for example, he goes to the beach and he gets all these wrestlers that are to wrestle him. And he gets them to do all kinds of showing their ass cheeks and all kinds of stuff, being a bro with them. But he's getting them to do this embarrassing stuff. So if you're on the left side of the dinner table, which is the side that everybody who brought a schmuck with them, you know, or you're just a guest of the party, but you know that the table, half of the guests are going to be these really odd, deplorable characters. Y'all have seen Dinner for Schmucks. There was the weird psychopathic lady that thought the crabs were like talking to her. There was, of course, the Steve Carell character he was the mouse taxidermist. And at the end, he said, one of the Swedish dudes or whatever goes, we have the same celebration in Sweden called something, 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 something. Now, the movie Dinner for Schmucks is based off of a French film. Unfortunately, and Amon takes advantage of this, Americans are dumb enough to believe anything without looking any of it up, like flat earth and stuff like that. Like the same people, and no offense to anybody, but like some of the most fucking ridiculous shit in the world that people have completely jumped on board with are people that are watching this show, taking everything for face value and then regurgitating stuff without looking up everything. And then what ends up happening is you have a never-ending argument with Bible scholars or just fans of that stuff. You know what I mean? But Mary with purple fingers, 100%. She would have purple fingers while she was making that curtain. That's not what Babylon tells you, though. He says that she was practically fingering herself with purple dye while being sold pregnant. It's a completely, it's poetic license of Greek text and Greek literature is what he's using here. However, and this is something that I had a slight change. The rabbis writing in Greek were copying a lot of this old Greek poetry, like Homer and stuff. But as far as how much their metaphors and stuff were really working, I think there are some, but it's not it's not the image that he puts in your head is not usually exactly what's happening when you actually look at it. Now, mind you, the whole fucking thing was written by Jews that were writing in Greek, copying other Greek shit to make the book work. So the story of Odysseus is that it is identical to the Mark 14:51 chapter. So not only does that disregard the whole thing of ever even happening, but because if you copied the story from somewhere else, then that kind of rules it out as being an actual occurrence of any kind. However, I do think that they were doing naked type ceremonies for sure. I think that was the whole point, was that you strip everything off and you get anointed with holy oil. And then just like the pictures of the other anointed ones, when we did the research on David and King Cyrus, there's a purple sindon wrapped around King David. Now, the one thing I did gather from this particular investigation was that I believe the purple sindon that's on Jesus later was the same sindon from the garden, even though there's no continuity of the story to make you think that. Where did Romans get this spare purple, which would be extremely valuable, ceremonial cloth from? Well, maybe it was the one that was on the fucking naked kid in the garden, who was definitely naked. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's still true. And kid, the definition of neoniskos, that's been a huge argument for a little while now. I'm pretty sure everybody can agree that they weren't 7 years old, but they were like in their teens, probably beardless type of individual. Why? Because all the artwork and figurines of Neoniskos, and none of them got no beards. So if you can find even Neonias, the Saint Procopios or whatever you say, even he looks like 16 years old. So yeah, so definitely would look funny, because if you see a 16-year-old, I mean, sometimes they do look very, they look like babies. You know what I mean? Like when you see basic trainees lining up to get their head shaved, they're babies. I mean, they are so young, you don't even think they can be in the army. And my granddad joined at 16. Absolutely. Neoniskos are the young soldier age range people from every piece of artwork and every piece of literature I can find. They're just very, they can be teenagers right on the brink of puberty, or right after having the initial phases of puberty and stuff. But when you start going further back in that age range, you start looking at Marrakion and Briefis, and then further down you got Pai Diaz, and yeah, that's Pai Diaz, Briefis, Marrakion, and Nianiskoi. So anyway, that little dude was a little dude, a dwarf. I love you, Mandy, but just for everybody watching, nothing in the text says that he was a dwarf. Mandy is referring to another text that this one piggybacks, where it's alluding to the midget. What about the newest evidence that shows none of the apostles had to pay the temple tax? This is a great topic. If they didn't have to pay the temple tax, that's cool. I'm sure. I don't know what I would disagree with about that. The priestly class, this creation that I kind of think started with Paul. Why did they call Paul Saul? I need to ask Myth Vision or Gnostic Informant, why the hell why did the name change? I don't understand why the name changed. It's not like we didn't have the S. You know what I mean? Like we had the S, like, or the sigma, you know what I'm saying? Why didn't we just call him Saul? I don't understand. Why do we have to have these fake names when we can just say the real name? You know, why do we even say Jesus knowing his name is Yeshua? You know, why or however you want to say it. But like, why do we start saying it would be the work of the devil to get you to call your savior the wrong fucking name every day? You know, according to the rules of Christianity. So that's kind of interesting to me. It's like, how did we get here? Why did we change the S to a P? I really don't know, and I would love to know. Or why do we call Simon Peter? Now, why don't we call him Simon Peter and not just Peter every time? Like, yeah, how confused people can possibly get. I mean, that could confuse you. You know, it's like, well, Simon. It's like, well, you mean Peter? It's like, yeah, well, his name is Simon Peter. It's like, so when you read something, you have to end up regurgitating the information different. Does that make sense? And that's where I kind of I don't understand it. Paul didn't exist. His letters are a forgery. I could 100% believe that. I don't think that any religions have started just from something miraculous happening, just out of the blue. And I totally think they've been constructs of empires and organizations, or, you know, this slow, you know what I mean? Because it's just, we did a lot of fucked up stuff back then. You know, we could have eradicated the entire religion 100%. And we've done it to other religions that you'll never even hear about, especially in Africa and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know why Thomas' name is Judas. W-I-A, you're supposed to be confused. That's how it works. What's up, Lord Cameron? So in Hebrew, it's Saul. And in Roman, it's Paul. Okay. I can go with that. Propaganda. Yeah, propaganda. Hey, I'm just here. What up? Yeah. Tor McCall Shane. I'm seeing names I've never thought of. I thought those stories were more like fantasy and mythology. Well, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, who can even say that now? You're not going to find two people that agree on the shit in Christianity or out of Christianity, much less from people who aren't in Christianity and people who are Christian. So, of course, it's mythology to a degree. However, Francesca Stavrakopoulou, not that I need her to say this to say it myself, she says that more than likely there was a guy who got a very big lead. And what happened with that particular guy and everything, you know, that's all been in the hands of someone else. But they do think there was an OG who was probably a little bit different than how they describe him in the thing. I mean, he had to rebel enough to, you know, get in trouble and stuff. But if you see it like in Matthew 12, 1-8, him and the disciples were hungry. So they went into the fields of grain and picked the ears of the grain and started to eat. You don't fucking eat grain like that. Me and Mandy would probably tell you, oh, yeah, they're eating the ergot off the end of it. But some people, oh, how dare you say that? And it's like, well, why the fuck would the Pharisees even be mad? And then he goes to the temple after that. Look, I'm not a scientist. I don't have degrees in anything. I've been in school for 100 years. But they're fucking eating the goddamn ergot off the end of the damn fucking, off the grain. There's nothing else they would be doing with that right there on the spot. That's the only thing you can do. What's our options? Well, can we eat the end of it? Well, I mean, yeah, but you're gonna just cotton mouth, bro. It's like, well, what about these psychedelic things growing on the end of them? No. They picked those off and threw them in the ground and ate the grains of the, get the fuck out of here. They absolutely. Let's see. Exactly, Sarah. The Romans propaganda. Yeah, the Holy Roman Empire ended up being the biggest one ever. I think they realized a few things from the Hellenistic era that they sort of eliminated. Like one, if you keep chopping dudes' balls off, you start to lose wars and stuff. But the eunuchs they would give eunuchs these higher statuses. The sacrifice they made for the kingdom of the heavens. These eunuchs would be like battle leaders and stuff. But I do think that at the end of the day, though, you got to stop chopping boys' balls off, or else someone else is going to show up who don't do that, and they're going to, the herd testosterone level might be a little higher. Sorry if that offends anybody. I'm just saying, I'm keeping my balls. I've already chopped them off anyway with the steroids that I took for years. Fuck, it ain't like they work. I'm a eunuch, all right? So if anyone's going to criticize eunuchs, it's going to be me. Oh, what's this? Constantine Arc doesn't have a single cross or mention of Christianity. Oh, I don't believe that at all. I think that they did that whole death of Stalin thing where they go, hey, right when he died, he converted to Christianity. Right when he died. It's like, oh, cool. Did he write it down like in a letter or anything? No. On his deathbed. It's like, well, how do we know that it actually happened? You'll never know, actually. But you have to take our word for it. The heir apparent to the thrones. And I do think that the last pagan, what was he, Julian? The last pagan emperor? I don't know where my burst of energy came from. It's not like I'm, I'm exhausted. Maybe that's why I'm powering through. But yeah, there's purple finger. That back to the question that I was looking up and everything. There's purple fingers. It doesn't say purple fingers, but she would have to have purple fingers if she was doing the yarn. And now it's on the Hagia Sophia. I didn't read the text yet. I was trying to look it up a minute ago, but he says that she looks down at her hands and hears the Holy Spirit. So that right there sounds like exactly what we've been looking for. However, it's not in the same passage as being nourished by the angels. It's a different chapter. And then here's another. Let me share screen this. Present. All right, so we had one more, and I forwarded this to Myth Vision because he was looking for the burning purple too in one of his episodes. And it might have been because he had just got done stalking my page and he saw the burning purple song, or whatever. Then the Lord said to Moses, take fragrant spices, stacte. Sorry, guys, if I'm not saying that right. I don't know how to say that. Onycha and galbanum and pure frankincense, all in equal amounts. This is from my boy Stone Bible Studies. He sent this to me after we had the first Quest for the Burning Purple episode. All this we're going to do a dive into with the scholars when they come on for a part 2. Don't know when it's going to be yet. Everybody's been busy traveling, doing stuff. Hell, Tiger Shark's been in Hong Kong. I know that Gnostic's planning a trip to Greece soon. It's going to be some badass shit. I do want to talk to them about how the Ruck interview went and some of the things that they talked about, and then bring up all the burning purple shit that we're stockpiling for that episode. Does that make sense, guys? So anything that has to do with burning those mollusks or the murex sea snails or burning any goddamn thing out of the ocean, give it to me. All right. Send it to me. if I see in the title of the subject of the email, burning purple, blah, 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 I'm going to open it a lot quicker. But honestly, everybody sends me such good emails with so much shit. I mean, I have like this never ending breadcrumb trail. All in equal amounts, and make a fragrant blend of incense. Make sure it's actually sharing. Have I been black screen? Oh, what do we got going here? Pattern. When Amon says Mary Purple Fingers, he's referring to the midwife that palpitated her, not to Mary herself. Incorrect. He's talking about Mary having purple fingers in her vagina and on her lips and on her fingers while she's being auctioned off and being nourished by the angels. At least the episode that I watched on him talking about this. But he could have talked about this in another episode, and I could have easily missed it for sure. But what I'm referring to is what I'm referring to. His arc of celebration of his victory that changed him into a Christian, wouldn't he want to memorialize that? Well, they said he converted to Christianity on his deathbed. So I know that his wife was sort of like wanting to be sort of like sympathetic to the Christians and whatnot. But I think administrations do all kinds of stuff that and lie about it, right? It's like the JFK files. We're all starting to figure out that the hit was ordered from Israel. Never saw that fucking coming. What do you know? But let's see. He's referring to the scene with the yarn. That's what I'm referring to right now, at least. And if he is referring to that scene with the yarn, and just so that you guys know, it's not like the purple dye didn't exist, and it's not like we didn't use it. But the way that he coins phrases, if you don't know where it's coming from, and then you're in the chat talking to someone, and you don't know, you need to know. So that's why we've been looking all this stuff up. Do you have the PDF of Rux Samothrace book that Amon cited for the burning purple? Mandy, if I'm not mistaken, Steve from Cross Bible and Neil both talked about this on one of my other episodes. And I don't know if we have this on the Discord or not, but I remember people looking up the citations for some of that stuff, talking about page 22 and him citing his own work. And then when you go and look at the actual work, it's not there. So that's just based off of what Cross Bible and Gnostic were saying when they were on the channel not too long ago. And we were looking up all these citations. And so this is just an investigation. It's not like the drugs weren't around. It's not like the purple didn't have some kind of effect. But if I'm going to write a book on all this different stuff, I have to have sources that actually have what I'm talking about in them, or else someone's going to do that to my book and I'm going to be written off as a fucking joke. So, it's already bad enough that I'm not a scholar of this anyway. So writing a book about this, I really got to have the citations, and it's got to be there. And so I have, when midwife checks her, the purple burns. Hey, Era Sophia, post that. I gave Neil the PDF of Ruck's book. Which one? The Sacred Mushroom and the Goddess, or I have a couple. The Road to Eleusis. He had a vision before a battle, but it was more aligned to Mithras. Okay. When the midwife checks her, the purple burns. Oh, okay. This is all I need right here. Let's see what I can find. If y'all can post it or send it to me, I'll pull it up. Let's see. The Proto-Evangelism of James. Where can I find? Okay. Which chapter is it? I got it right here. Or at least one of them. Throwing away his axe, and when the high priest taking him to Rod's prayer. Swapping the contradiction of fear of Joseph, council priests, that made the defiled virgins of the family of David. Officers went away from the 7 virgins. Yeah, just tell me where it is, if you can find it before I can. Samothrace, the one that Amon referenced. Samothrace, an island in the Aegean Sea. So there's Greek island in the northern Aegean Sea. Tell me what I'm doing. Tell me where to look, and I will look, because that is exactly what I need to finish this chapter. Is a passage talking about purple, burning, the weaving, and we have the incense that we were talking about on this page. So then the Lord said to Moses, take the frankincense, onycha, and galbanum, and pure frankincense, all in equal amounts, and make the fragrant blend of incense and work of a perfumer. It is to be salted and pure and sacred. Grind some of the powder into place in front of the ark of the covenant law in the tent of the meeting, where I will meet with you, and it shall be the most holy to you. Do not make any incense with this formula for yourselves. It is to be holy to the Lord. Whoever makes incense like it to enjoy its fragrance must be cut off from their people. So this is Exodus 30, 34 through 38. Now it's this word right here, onycha. There is a theory that this is potentially the murex. So it refers to a fragrant aromatic substance, specifically mentioned in Exodus 30, 34 as one of the ingredients of sacred incense used in tabernacle and later in the temple. The Hebrew word shecheleth, translated to onycha, if I'm saying it wrong, sorry, in the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament found in Exodus 33. That's supposed to take fragrant spices, gum, resin, onycha, galbanum, and pure frankincense, all in equal measures for the holy incense. It's thought to mean to roar as a lion from this characteristic, the peeling off by concussion of sound. The exact nature of the remains debated. So it could be an aromatic mussel shell or a resin of a type of plant. Right there. Boom. So if there is an entheogen in the purple, and they have, so apparently there's a factory in Qatar that still processes this stuff. So we can figure it out, hell, me and my wife are both lab techs and lab assistants stuff. So I'm sure we could actually see it for ourselves. And that was another thing for the book that I wanted to do, was I wanted to either get a hold of the dye or try to make the dye. I've grown, shrooms and cannabis and all that stuff. I like to do things. I like to do things that are hard that people can't do. And so this was great. This was exactly the kind of idea that I was looking for. So I did take this and I sent it over to Myth Vision, because he said he was looking for something that constituted a burning purple. Now, this would all be stuff that you render the burning purple, you render that statement after, right? But like everybody's been sharing with me recently, when she spins the yarn, the priest saying, let us be a veil. Okay, let us make a veil for the temple of the Lord. And the priest said, call to me the undefiled virgins of the family of David. And the officers went away and sought and found 7 virgins. And the priest remembered the child Mary, that she was of the family of David and defiled before God. And the officers went away and brought her, and they They brought them into the temple of the Lord, and the priest said, choose for me by lot who shall spin the gold and the white and the fine linen and the silk and the blue and the scarlet and the true purple. Awesome. Exodus 25:4, and the true purple, the scarlet, fell to the lot of Mary, and she took them and went away to her house. And at the time, Zacharias was dumb, and Samuel was in place until the time that Zacharias spoke. And Mary took this scarlet and span it. And she took the pitcher and went out to fill it with water. Is this showing up before I keep on going? Yes. Okay. All right. Hail, you, behold, a voice saying, hail, you who has received grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. Luke 1:28. I love this. And she looked around on the right hand and on the left to see whence this voice came. She's looking at her hands. This is what Era Sophia was trying to tell me the other day, or he was explaining. I don't know what gender you are, so sorry if I say he or bro and you're a girl. So, and she went away trembling to her house and put down the pitcher and take the purple. She sat down on her seat and drew it out. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before her, saying, fear not, Mary, for you have found grace before the Lord of all, and you shall conceive according to his word. And she, hearing, reasoned with herself, saying, shall I conceive by the Lord, the living God? And shall I bring forth as every woman brings forth? And the angel of the Lord said, not so, Mary, for the power of the Lord shall overshadow you. Wherefore also that holy thing which shall be born of you shall be called the Son of the Most High. And you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. And Mary said, behold, the servant of the Lord before his face. Let it be unto me according to your word. Okay, I'm loving this. This is dynamite, right? All right. And she made the purple and scarlet and took them to the priest. And the priest blessed her and said, Mary, the Lord God has magnified your name and shall be blessed in all the generations of earth. And Mary, with great joy, went away to Elizabeth, her kinswoman. All right. Hopefully we're getting there. I'm looking for the it burning. I'm sure a lot of things would burn your hoo-ha if that's what we're referring to. But that's what I'm looking for, is the burning purple. I have a fucking song called it. I gotta find it. And thank you so much, everybody, for sending me this stuff. This is freaking awesome. And there could be explanations around this, but I'm just saying this is good. Because I've read the other parts of it, but being nourished by the angels, but there was nothing about purple in that passage. So Luke 1:39-40, knocked on the door, and when Elizabeth heard her, she threw away the scarlet and ran to the door and opened it. And seeing Mary, she blessed her and said, whence is this to me, that the mother of my Lord shall come to me? For behold, which is in me leaped and blessed you. Luke 1:34-44. But Mary had forgotten the mysteries. Oh, shit. Just playing. Of which the archangel Gabriel had spoken, and gazed up into the heaven and said, who am I, O Lord, that all generations of earth shall bless me? Luke 1:48. She remained 3 months of Elizabeth, and day by day she grew bigger. Mary, being afraid, went away to her own house and hid herself from the sons of Israel. And she was 16 years old when the mysteries happened. I love this right here. All right. So in her house, and she discovered a big child. He was big with child, and he smote his face and threw on the ground upon the sackcloth and wept bitterly, saying, yeah, he received food from, okay, here's what I was talking about. Called Mary and said, oh, you who has been cared for by God, why have you done this and forgotten the Lord your God? Why have you brought low your soul, you that was brought up in the Holy of Holies, and that received food from the hand of an angel, and that received food from the hand of an angel. This is a little different than the other one that I read, but it's still pretty much the same thing. And she wept bitterly, saying, I am innocent and have known no man. And Joseph said to her, whence then is that which is in your womb? And she said, as the Lord my God lives, I do not know whence it is to me. Let's see. Has any Era Sophia, have you put where? Hey, what's up, Tiger Shark? Where incense banned, scriptures be cool, Yahweh sacred incense. Myth is not looking to show evidence. Something to cherry pick against Amon. Amon doesn't really like me no more, but it's not like I'm not trying to still find what he's talking about, because I'm still trying to find the damn drugs in entheogens. The burning shirt, the shirt that was purple dust burning. The burning purple is the drugs that Medea used to kill a lady. It's a common trope. The burning shirt. The shirt was purple, thus burning purple. Okay. Ruck explains it, but Amon twisted it. Got you. That's great. I just need that. I need that like the clip of it. But no, this is all good, because we're going to do another episode on this. This is just sort of we're doing like this working thing here. You got to rewatch the Alabastron Wednesday Night Bible Studies Season 1 episode, and Jesus the Pedo Satanic Initiation 1 episode 1. The Soma Thrace, the one that Amon referenced. Well, and the biggest reason that I'm even doing this is because the last time we talked about burning purple and Cross Bible was in the comments, we had somebody give us a citation, but when we looked the citation up, that wasn't what was in the book. So that was like, okay, well, that's one we got to mark off. You see what I'm saying? So if I can pull that up, that'd be great. And because I want to collect all this before we have the part 2, because I have to have, if I have everything there. But hey, once again, if anybody's commenting and you have the passages that we're talking about, just copy it, put it into an email, witchdoctorchristianity@gmail.com, and just put the whatever it is, and just hit and send it to me, and then it will be pulled up, and I will give you credit. Absolutely. I've been saying the whole time that, hey, what's up, Scobie One? I've been saying the whole time that Amon has to be right about stuff, and because of the term burning purple making that up out of nowhere in my brain doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, the burning purple, got that. Unfortunately, a lot of the places where he's talking about or insinuating that there's all this purple and stuff, it's not in the text all the time. So that's where it's kind of like, okay, well, the purple sendon that the old dude could have been wearing, that could have been, and it doesn't say purple, right? But one scene later, they put the purple thing on him and they start saluting him and, oh, hail the King of the Jews, and bowing to him and completely trolling the fuck out of him. So I am assuming that could have been that, because how many people just have like a purple towel like just laying around, like maybe they did, but apparently that was so expensive it would have been like a special thing. So in my eyes, it kind of felt like, when the kid ran away and left it, that I'm guessing is that same thing. Do I think it's a sock cock? There's not enough there to say it was wrapped around his penis and testicles and stuff, but I couldn't imagine trying to ejaculate somebody you had just chopped nuts off of. You're probably going to be a little fucked up at the moment, So looks for the scene with Salome. Yeah, Salome. She was the girl. I know Scott came in. I found Peter assembly, person, hands, priest, good virgin, receive the temple, Lord Jesus, both your prison tears. What are the ordeal and alarms? Manifest your sins, and your eyes, priest, the water, and that goes to the spell on Judea. Scroll Luke 21. So in maiden, and wrong, my wife is not ashamed. Where is Salome? I'm looking for it, y'all. We have a tab in the Discord for the purple, but it hasn't really been like updated frequently, if that makes sense. And there hasn't been a lot of contributions into it. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found Salome. Aha! Gotcha, bitch. And the midwife said to him, is this true? And Joseph said to her, come and see. And the midwife went away with him, and they stood in place of the cave. And behold, a luminous cloud overshadowed the cave. And the midwife said, my soul has been magnified this day, because my eyes have seen strange things. because salvation has been brought. That totally sounds like a vision. But salvation has been brought forth to Israel. And immediately the cloud disappeared out of the cave, and a great light shone in the cave, so that the eyes could not bear it. And in a little, that light gradually decreased until the infant appeared and went and took the breast from his mother Mary. And the midwife cried out and said, "This is a great day to me, because I have seen this strange sight." And the midwife went forth out of the cave, and Salome met her. And she said to her, "Salome, Salome, I have a strange sight to relate to you. A virgin is brought forth, a thing which her nature admits not of." Then said Salome, as the Lord my God lives, unless I thrust my finger and search the parts, I will not believe that a virgin has brought forth. So she's like, I need to go check her oil real quick. Bro, I need to bring Sophia on the show. You seem like you got the stuff. That's great. And some of y'all do too. I'm just saying, he's been a great help lately. Once again, sorry if I'm calling you the wrong gender. And the midwife went in and said to Mary, "Show yourself, for no small controversy has arisen about you." And Solomon put in her finger and cried out and said, "Woe is me for mine iniquity and mine unbelief, because I have tempted the living God. And behold, my hand is dropping off as it burned with fire." The burning purple girl. And she bent her knees before the Lord. I bet she did. Saying, "Oh God of my fathers," just kidding, "remember that I am the seed of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Do not make a show of," wait, but where's the purple? My hand is dropping off as if burned with fire. And there's no talk of the purple for a whole chapter. I mean, this is not the day that she was, you know what I'm saying? There's no purple involved in this. And the guys, trust me, I want to find, And the midwife went in, I'm going to read it again, and said to Mary, "Show yourself, for no small controversy has risen about you." And Salome put in her finger and cried out and said, "Woe is me for mine iniquity and mine unbelief, because I have tempted the living God, and behold, my hand is dropping off as if burned with fire." And she bent her knees before the Lord, saying, "O God of my fathers, remember that I am the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do not make a show of me to the sons of Israel, but restore me to the poor. For you know, O Lord, that your name I have performed my services, and that I have received my reward at your hand." And behold, an angel of the Lord stood by her, saying, "Okay, hold on, wait, we got something here. Solomon, the Lord has heard you. Put your hand in the infant and put your hand to the infant and carry it, and you will have safety and joy." And Solomon went and carried it, saying, "I will worship him, because a great king has been born to Israel." And behold, Solomon was immediately cured and went forth out the cave justified. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Salome's had 6 children, 5 abortions. And I don't know where it comes from, but it's in the book, The Secret Gospel of Mary Magdalene. It's a fun book to read, guys. The Secret Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Not the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. That's a Nag Hammadi thing. That's an old non-canonical text, apparently, in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, I believe, which we can look it up right now. Everything blends when you're fucking old. If I'm not mistaken, it is a bunch of sayings that Jesus had, but it's not a story of any kind. So you would have to have a ton of poetic license to make that into a story. However, I think everybody knows the Gnostic Gospels and the Nag Hammadi stuff for sure. Everyone knows who Elaine Pagels is. Y'all seen Myth Vision was just at her house. He was up in that girl's house. Son, Myth Vision gonna be fucking shredded soon. Watch. And behold, Salome was immediately cured, and she went forth in the cave justified, and behold, saying, "Salome, and behold, Joseph ready to go to Judea, and there's great commotion in Bethlehem of Judea, for Magi came." There's the Magi. Now, here's the weird thing, that some people will call these Magi Zoroastrian. But Why? You know, because they're the only ones who admit to doing magi shit, like shaman type stuff with the Haoma and whatnot. And let me know in order to go to the cave. I don't know if I'm going to read any more of the purple, but let me come back to the chat and see what y'all are up to. Sorry. It's that dank midwifery. The purple isn't there, but Amon uses other sources to implying it. Well, here's what I will say, Erosophia, is that they were using ergot for childbirth, and ergot is purple. And I don't see why they wouldn't have that purple dye in a concoction. And if you're applying that into a vagina to absorb it and for the ergot to kick in, and I mean, Mandy Moorhall used to work on an ergot farm. It's very possible, you know. However, the purple isn't specifically in that thing, but I see what he is doing for sure. And look, guys, I want stuff that he says to be right. Okay. I really do. I'm all about the entheogens and stuff. If anything sounds too far, then I'll say it's too far. It's not there or whatever, you know, but gathering all of this. So the ruck thing, absolutely, with Mandy Moorhall's talking about, definitely want to bring that up. I want to get that prepared for the next time. Let me see if I can find any. Hold on a second. I've been on for about an hour, so I don't want to be on all day. Let me copy the invite. Let me pull open my other email and send this to Tiger Shark, because we've all been looking at this a little bit. Tiger Shark, are you still in Hong Kong? Are you flying back, or are you back? I'm sending it to you. I don't know if Marcel's awake, but I will see. All right, send that to him. Sorry, guys. Let's see what we got. Can you name the book? No. I'm getting all my notifications from my other YouTube right now. Oh, there he is. Yes. What's up, Marcel? All right. I'm coming to you. Discord. This could be the quest for the Burning Purple Part 2. And then Part 3, I want to have Gnostic, Mandy, Steven, Ali Rowan, every fucking person that I've been messaging and emailing and kind of working with. You know, Ali's been, you know, showing me different verses and stuff as well too. She's got a lot of knowledge up there. Some of y'all might not like her, but you know, by design, I, you know, wanted to talk to her more about that stuff. All right, so Marcel, he's like, I'm here. I'll be there in a minute. Oh, what up? All right, guys. Here he is. Got him.
All right, so the Hong Kong trip, just to let everybody know, right? So I go to you know, when you're checking into your flight, like the day before the flight. So I go to check in on Saturday, and I'm scanning my freaking passport, right? Boom, scanning it into the app, right, dude? And I go, expiration 2025. I'm like, uh-oh. And then I look at the month and it says J, and I'm like, oh, like June, so I'm good, right? Freaking January. My freaking passport's expired.
You couldn't go?
I couldn't go, dude. You want this? Not right now. Later. Okay. So yeah, I couldn't go, but I had to do, like, I'm still doing the presentation, so I had to, my present, because the time difference, I did the first presentation at 2:30 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, I was what the hell have I done in the last? I lost another damn chick. I think I got 7 left. I think they're all good now. As you know, when you buy chickens like the day or after they're born, any of the ones that had problems, you just don't know yet. So you want to get a shit ton, especially when you order them and they're only 3 days old. You want to get like 10 of them. So I got 9 of them. And the lavender Orpingtons, they are really pretty looking. They look like sage bushes. The towel, oh, no shit. Yeah, no, Mandy Moorhall was just talking about another ruck source that I want to. I know he's working right now. Otherwise, I would just bring him on. Google poison dress Pete the Wikipedia. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send this to him, the link, and if he has any time to come on today. All right, Mandy, you might not be watching right now, but hopefully you got that. And, and this is something that I will agree, Liber Pater. I like that Amon makes people read between the lines in the text. It makes the Bible more worldly. But the guy is a troll. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Look, I have a personality exactly like Amon's. And that's why I'm so drawn to the work that he does, because I have the same as Mandy Moorhall. We coined the phrase golden grenade, but golden apple, as he was telling the story of the Trojan War and Paris and the backstory that got all that started. Who's the mirror on the wall, if you will, the first Sleeping Beauty, who's the fairest of them all.
Oh, did you read those two other sources? So you brought up her. Yeah, that lady's amazing. The source she dropped was it was Pseudo Matthew, right?
Which source? Sorry.
So the Burning Purple. So there's two sources. The one, the other guy, Stone Bible, right? What was his name? Stone Bible.
Oh, the Murex incense.
Yes.
Apparently is that. Now I did have this. So this is the Exodus. And what's funny is that for some reason, this word onycha, I was thinking, I don't know why, it doesn't even really look the same, but onyx and like conch, it had kind of the same feeling to the word. And I was like, that's got to be some kind of seashell. And it is. So it's like, okay, the Bible, the onycha, it refers to the fragrant or aromatic substance specifically mentioned in Exodus 30. Now, here's the thing. I thought the shit reeked. I thought the purple reeked and smelled like shit, which is why they made fun of the royalty for always smelling bad, because they're wearing all that shit all the time and they smelled funky as hell. But I don't know for sure. Like I said, me and my wife got to order some of this purple dye, and we're going to put it on our hands and stuff and see what we feel. I hope nothing goes wrong and we're in the ER and I got purple all over me. It's like, what did you do? It's like, oh, we just, it's a long story.
So, and there's actually two other sources that actually mention the burning purple.
Okay.
The other one was, it was Pseudo Matthew that was brought up. And I think the other one, there's another one actually. I have to open it up to get it, but
okay.
Yeah, let me work on that. But go to, I had all this stuff and I think I closed it all out. Here we go.
Marcel can help us out too by sharing his screen.
Okay.
And yeah, because he can navigate our Discord a little bit better because he's just more familiar with it. When we use incense, most people think it smells like a skunk. Yeah, dude, you're not lying here. So here's what's funny. Every day when I wake up, I swear to God, there's a dead skunk down the road somewhere. And I could be blazing in my truck, but the smell of the damn dead skunk is so freaking strong that it would like totally cover up. It is so bad. And some weed is like that. Some weed, you're like, what the fuck? This shit's strong, but it reeks, you know?
And they were burning like entire bushes. But so the other source is Pistis Sophia, chapter 147.
Pistis Sophia?
Yeah. Chapter 147. And
what up? Histis Sophia. How do you spell that? Histis Sophia?
Pistis space Sophia.
Pistis. Okay.
And then it's chapter 147.
Okay. Chapter 147.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I don't know. So the other one, Pseudo Matthew, is having burning purple. This one is No. Sorry. This is another interesting thing, though. This is talking about not burning purple. This is actually talking about them taking the male seed. So another one of those things that Almond talks about. It's right there where it says Thomas said, we have heard that there are some on the earth who take the male seed and the female bloody monthly blood and make it into a lentil porridge and eat it, saying, we have faith in Esau and Jacob. Is this thing seemly or not? And then Jesus says, he basically says, no, it's a sin. It's a heinous act. It's a sin of all iniquities.
Allie was talking about the semen sacrament in John. And so that's what I want her to talk about before she leaves the episode where we bring her on is I want to do the Burning Purple part 3 with all of our stuff, Gnostic, Bible, Cross Bible, and Allie, if we can, and bring everybody into the convo and pull up the sources and just to show them, because in my head, I was like, there has to be something that's a little bit more specifically like referring to that.
So pseudo Matthew, but also the one that she dropped specifically was the Proto James chapter 10.
Proto James.
That's the one that she dropped for us specifically. Allie did.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even read all my. Okay. So Proto James, and that was the one that was that one that I did a little bit ago. Like
you did, yeah. You posted it 3 days.
Okay.
ago.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. I'll get my names confused, and even though you said Proto James, I'm sitting here going Proto Evangel. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But hey, real quick, guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to Marcel and Tiger. Answer some questions in the or talk to the people in the comments. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, how are you? How are you today, Tiger Shark?
Good. Yourself?
Oh man, I'm good. I just woke up. Well, an hour or so ago, but I'm having my morning coffee. I just had a sandwich, so I'm pretty good here now.
Nice.
But let's see what we got in the comments here. I don't think there's anything new, to be fair. Amanda Mendoza said hi. Hey, Amanda, how are you? I hope your day is going good. Get the old lady to talk about the dirty stuff. Yeah, indeed. Oh, shit. Right up down here. Oh. What is that? Oh, what is that emoji? I can't see what it is. It looks like a bottle of beer or an ear or I'm so blind. What did you think of? Did you look through that Word document that was posted? The thing we were talking about earlier, all the recipes and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But somebody in the Discord is like translating some of the recipes into different compounds, essentially. While Gnostic is doing that, I did want to take a moment to read what Allie did. So she's the one that pointed to Proto James chapter 10.
Yep.
Proto James 10 says in her.
Is it in the bottom of the screen? Can I present it? Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't know if you were sharing it or not, but it's all good.
I could. You want me to post in the private chat and then you can find it?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Do that, and I'll try and get it up before you're done talking about it. But it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no. It is interesting though.
Yeah, I'll try and get what we're talking about up on the screen at least.
Do you want me to send you the image or the actual link?
Give me the actual link.
Okay, coming now.
Banners, private chat.
Let me know if you see it. I just posted it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got it. All right. Okay, so there's something in here you want to show?
Yeah, go down to number 9 or number 10.
Number 9, number 10. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here now. Streamlabs present. Share screen. Share. There we go. That should be it.
Yeah, can you go in a little bit, zoom in a little bit?
What's this?
How
This
do I
is Proto
zoom?
James.
Okay. And is this the yarn or the?
So it's yeah, it's interesting. I mean, let's read it and then we'll interpret it after that. But it does talk about the purple.
Yeah,
I
when
gotta look up how to zoom in. Hold on.
she's spinning the yarn.
She's spinning the yarn, so she's got purple
Okay.
fingers. So
Yeah.
the whole reference to purple fingers, and when Gnostic had his live stream a couple days ago, I said that in the chat. He's like, I don't know, I don't see anywhere where there's purple fingers. And I said, well, there is somewhere that talks about purple fingers. We found it, and then he was like, he called me an ammonite and all this stuff in his live. So.
Oh, that's what they were. Someone asked me earlier. What do you think about?
That should be better.
What do you think about Gnostic calling Tiger and Ammonite? And I was like, well, I don't think Gnostic. I didn't have an opinion yet because I didn't know what they were talking about. I don't think Gnostic knows you enough. To I think I mean. Y'all have to have that conversation live, honestly. And I don't think either one of y'all would do bad in that conversation. I think y'all would do good.
Not at
I don't
all.
think you're much of an Ammonite because you're looking for the flaws too.
I'm just looking. I mean, for him to say that there's nowhere does it say purple fingers. I mean, clearly there is a place that says purple finger. I'm just me saying that he thinks that I'm just taking Amin's side. I'm not saying
This
what
yarn. This right here from Aerosophia is great. Now, I believe I've been very busy, so I haven't read all my comments and responses. But and this looks like purple fingers to me. I mean, it doesn't directly say it, but if she's spinning yarn, her hands are getting purple for sure.
Yeah, and it talks about let's see. Yeah, it talks about the virgins. So
why would yarn make your fingers purple?
Because good question. They said it was purple and scarlet yarn.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I know all kinds of old ladies who knit all the time. Their fingers don't get dyed from the yarn they're using.
I guess in my head, I'm telling myself that the yarn is still wet.
Now, mind you, ancient yarn could have been more
like it wears off.
It could have stained more, right? But I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm trying to find if it looks like it. To me, that's what it looked like when I read that. I was like, I think we got purple fingers here. Because it says she took the scarlet and spun it. I don't think anyone could disagree with somebody interpreting that as just her fingers might have gotten stained.
Actually, hold on, I'm going to Google something real quick.
Or the scarlet, or whichever specific Murex color they were dealing with.
All right, let's find another one. So there's another source which Mandy actually posted on the Discord. We're from Bart, it was part of Bart Ehrman's stuff. From Pseudo Matthew, which Pseudo Matthew is like way later. It's 7th century.
And then she looks at her right and left hand. Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No, go ahead, man.
She looks at her right and left hand and hears the Holy Spirit. So I totally think that's not too far-fetched to think. I honestly do think that could easily be it could be exactly what everyone's been saying,
Okay, here's the purple fingers, and Mandy was the guy that posted this in the Discord for us.
Okay, yarn can stain your fingers. I just googled it.
Here, Marcel. Here's Pseudo Matthew. This is the one that explicitly says purple fingers.
Oh, Mandy Moorhall is here. You want me to add him in?
Yeah. Is he here? Oh, he just showed up.
Yeah, Mandy's here. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go try and look for this stuff.
Check. Yo, how do I sound? I got new headphones. Is it less scratchy?
Yeah.
A little more clear?
Great.
A little better? Sounds good? Hell yeah, dude. I got new headphones.
Wow,
I noticed how bad everything sounded when I was on before, and it was like really scratchy and gross. I was like, I'll upgrade a little bit.
Oh, the headphones were causing that? Okay.
Yeah, because they were scratching against my beard and scratching against the, whatever I was wearing or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So Marcel, if you can pull up that second link I dropped.
I will. Yeah.
And that
One
section is the one from Mandy, chapter 9 specifically.
Chapter 9. Okay, hold on. I'll go down to it. Chapter 19. Chapter 9. Okay, here we go.
This is from that Bart Ehrman passage. His piece. Okay, yeah. You know, there's sort of a trope that's within like a joke that's within all these circles where even Bart Ehrman agrees is kind of a thing. So even Bart Ehrman agrees that Mary's fingers were purple at one point. So that's very fun. If somebody wants a chaos apple to throw at some people with this stuff, even Bart Ehrman agrees that Mary's fingers were purple.
I think Proto James, her fingers are purple in that for that yarn experience. What I do.
But look at chapter 9 on the first sentence and second paragraph. Again, on the third day, while she was working at the purple with her fingers, entered young man. So it's talking about the same activity, right?
Yeah, that is absolutely.
And when I mentioned
it even uses the words that she works it with her fingers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Specifically, purple with her finger. Boom.
Yeah,
bam.
I guess that certainly can imply, like, why would you word it in that specific way if it wasn't slightly implying that her fingers were purple?
Yeah. No, she totally is.
Yeah.
No, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Now I can finish this chapter.
So you can use for your book, even Bart Ehrman agrees that Mary's fingers were purple. But I want to show you a couple of things within the mythology that's important to where Amun gets this stuff from, because it's a very common trope. I was trying to tell you guys about it. It's the burning shirt, the poison dress, or the shirt of flames. If you want to take a look, pull up the Wikipedia page for just search the shirt of flames and see where that takes you. Because if you read the Myth of Samothrace, the source that Amun quotes, he doesn't quote a specific passage or anything. He quotes the entire chapter as his source for this burning purple stuff. So essentially, what he does is he takes that entire.
Oh, you cut out, man. Did you get the shirt of flames thing, Witch Doctor? I just got it as well.
Yeah. So
you got it? Okay.
The phrase "the shirt of flame" refers either to a specific form of the poisonous dress, which totally trope in folklore, like the wizard robe, particular type of clothing given to people about to face burning at the stake. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong there.
Burning.
Non-Christian and magical uses, Greek mythology.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. It looks.
Shirt of fire. Okay, so Heracles, who is both a hero and god, was killed by the shirt of Nessus, which is also the shirt.
Oh, Witch Doctor, your music is still playing, right?
Mine is?
Yeah.
Oh my God, has that been messing up this whole broadcast?
I've been hearing it the whole. I didn't know if you wanted it or not, so I figured I'd let you know that it's still.
I just paused it.
Yeah, it's been on since I came in.
It wasn't too loud or anything, but
I haven't even heard it. Am I that deaf?
Yeah,
I've been blown up and stuff. You know what I mean? Like my eardrums might just be shit.
Yeah.
They say you don't notice it when it starts to go. You just, huh? All right. So
I want to leave you with that little. I got a meeting that I got to take here in a minute. I just want to leave you with this chaos apple here of the golden or the burning shirts and the shirt of flames and the poison dress, because that's where all this stuff comes from, because it ties directly in with Medea, and that wouldn't be tattooed on Amun's head for no reason, right? So it all ties into Medea. Nice hat. Remember to check out the book. Use the promo code Witch Doctor at checkout. Save 10%. And to donate to the Buy Marcella Sandwich Fund. We already got some people buying Marcella's a sandwich. So anyway, I got to run. It was good to see you guys. Enjoy that chaos apple with the flaming shirts. I'll be listening later.
No,
take care, Mandy. Take care.
Peace. Hilarious.
gold.
It is. It is.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Take it away, Witch Doctor.
Oh, well, I don't have much to say. I just-
Well, that's okay. I'm wondering what was the chapter Mandy was just talking about that and references for the what was the source that Mandy just gave us for this Shirt of Flame thing? I missed that part. Did you guys hear that? Or
the Shirt of Flame?
yeah, Mandy's like Almond quotes a whole chapter from this book as the source for the poison dress or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
I just
I
forget
can't
what he
remember
said.
enough of the classes anymore because I've done so many of my own things now that where my fucking brain is mush.
Click on that source number 1. What does that take us to? You see
Oh
that?
yeah.
Apollodorus, 1921, the library book, James George Fraser, Scottish social anthropologist.
It's got to be one of these, yeah. So it's probably the Apollodorus. I think it is that one. It's either that or this, but I think it is.
I think it's the Bibliotheca of Pseudo Apollodorus. I think it's that one.
Okay.
Look at that. Okay. Is that showing
Because
up?
I've seen Bibliotheca on like I've seen different Bibliotheca books on Lady Babylon. Yeah.
Yeah, when we do an investigation, whether it be in the army, and I haven't ever been a full-blown cop. I've been like private security and things like that. But whenever you perform an investigation, you have
The myth
one
and Samuel
story,
Grace. Okay.
you have
Thanks,
another
man.
story, and usually in the middle is the truth. It's never usually that this guy was 100% right and this guy was 100% right. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it does, depending on what kind of situation we're talking about. But typically it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And like, for example, the one thing that's confused me so much, and I've been talking with Allie a little bit in the comments and stuff to try to figure it out, is I can't see somebody coining a phrase that came from absolutely nowhere, out of thin air, but I can see it being derived from various passages all being brought into one explanation.
Yeah, like an amalgamation or whatever.
Well, right. So I was like, there has to be something talking about purples, burning, or burning purple, or anything like that. So this is good. This is good.
Do you want to take it to the next level? Let's see what science has to say about it. I just dropped the link in the chat. If you can open that up, I think we're about to blow everybody's minds away, bro.
All right. All right, let's see. We got the private chat.
And this is published again in Nature, which is like it's like the hardest one to get published in. It's not some backwoods fucking publication.
Nature.com.
Yeah, nature.com, scientific reports. And you can scroll down and actually read. It's a free download. Anybody can actually download this for free. But if you scroll down, there's a table or an image. Keep going down the page. Yeah, keep going. But basically, they're talking about them burning the purple as incense in Jerusalem, and they're using this mollusk. Yeah.
Right.
And they did a chemical analysis on this smoke with GCMS. Now, if anybody doesn't know what this is, I do because I've used all of these things. GCMS is gas chromatography mass spec. Liquid chromatography mass spec, and then ICP-MS is inductively coupled plasma mass spec. I've done all of these type of measurements in the laboratory before. But
this looks cool.
Did a lot of testing. They heated up and burned it. They did the chemical analysis on the actual vapor smoke.
All right, I'm sending this to MythVision right now.
Dude, it's fucking badass.
Oh, cool.
Wait. Are you sending it to MythVision so in hopes that he actually talks about it, or just say, hey,
whatever. I like to.
Yeah, it's just passing on the knowledge, man.
Yeah.
Because my thing against MythVision has always, he was in a chat like not too long ago saying that he was trying to find people, he's trying to find people that say opposite of what Amin says. And he's like, well, this scholar says they weren't doing drugs. So you can send this to him, but I don't know if he's even going to care about it because it seems like he just wants to find people that disagree with him.
Yeah. Which is
people-
crazy because you can find anything to support any outcome you want. Like basically, like
You can. Like I had a. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm done.
Well, I had Ruck's book, The Myth of Samothrace. Okay.
I can't
that's it.
find that book online. I can't find it. The Miss Samothrace. I can't even find it to buy it.
I thought he I think he said he put it in the
The Discord.
yeah. Or
Oh.
gave Neil his copy of the PDF,
Okay.
if that's what we're talking about.
I'll
But I
ask,
could-
I'm just gonna write Mandy Moore. I'll see if he can send it to me.
it's so insane how much alchemy we were doing.
Yeah, dude, and this paper is fantastic, man. There's so many references. Even there's Bible verses in here, right?
Right.
They're referencing that. So that same passage that we brought up about the formula Exodus 30, they reference it in this paper as well as being the actual recipe. And it is a recipe. It's not just an ingredients because it's all equal parts. So it's actually telling you the actual recipe is in the Bible. It's literally in the Bible. So all these people that said there's no such thing as a burning purple. Dude, it's right in the Bible. You don't have to look at some pseudo text or some proto text. It's literally right there.
It looks like they were burning these mollusks for sure, and taking the powder and putting that into the incense vessel. What's so funny is that how could something so simple have so many uses? But I think it's just you can get a chemical in your body in so many ways that and if you eat shit, I mean, there could be a unpleasant effect from that, but then your liver can also change things. So absorbing it through the skin or absorbing it in inhaling it, fumigating, however you want to say, that seemed to be fairly popular too, because they knew that if you ate certain things, it didn't work the same. It changed it and stuff, like
Well,
cancer, it's different when you eat it.
Here's another angle I want to throw at people. So I have my own theories, obviously, of all this stuff. People know some of the people in the chat know of it. But when we're looking at all of these ingredients lists and even recipes, I mean, they were far more advanced in the psychopharmacology than we are. I can guarantee you that. And, they had some of these had 60 plus ingredients, right? We don't have that today, and the only person that I know that was anywhere close to that, but probably surpassing these people just because he was a chemist, was Sasha Shulgin, that I know of, where he was taking a bunch of different compounds and mixing them together, and him and his wife would actually do these compounds in his older years.
Yep.
So I think that's the only example that I know on the planet that probably had more advanced psychopharmacology than what the ancients had, but they had some fascinating stuff. They really did.
All right, so I got Stone Bible, Eros Sophia. If you shoot me an email, you don't have to do it today, but next time if you want to, I'll send you the link. But I'm not chat rouletting anymore because that never goes good.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Oh man. Oh god. But yeah, so let's see. What am I looking at here? I thought I might have had his email. Anyway, yeah, so there we go. Now I can finish this chapter on the burning purple, but I do think I have to I got to read through the book and see if there's anything I want to change a little bit. And I mean, I wrote the book back in, I think, November or October, in like 3 weeks. So I like to do stuff really fast and get it done. But then I'll go and I'll look up more and I'll research more and I'll try to find better citations and sources and stuff. And this is where I kept getting stuck. So this is great, actually. This is actually badass that we found this stuff.
In that paper, that article we just looked at came out in 2017. So it's fairly recent, right?
The deities of Samothrace. Let me look.
Yeah, I found I found the deities of Samothrace, but I can't find the myth of Samothrace.
He might have meant
The deities of Samothrace? Yeah, okay.
he might have meant that, because you know how it is when we look up all these sources, the freaking everything starts to blend together, and arguably that could even be in defense of Lady Babylon. That when you've been doing this shit and you have so much crap crammed into your thing, you know, I don't think he was really trying to piss anybody off by saying the word burning purple. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he was trying to make anybody mad. Now saying that Jesus used kids as drugs, that's a golden apple right there. But burning purple shouldn't be a burning apple or a golden apple, but it has become one. And so that's where I was just like, well, hold on. That was one thing that stuck out more than anything was on one of the Myth Vision videos. He talked about how him and Kip, I think, talked about how there's no burning purple anywhere. So I've been like, okay, maybe there isn't. And so I'm looking, and I've been looking for the passages. Unfortunately, when I wrote the book, the only passage I had ran across about, I used the search queue like Mary being nourished by the angels or fed by the angels. That's what I looked up. And so when I found the passage, there's no purple anywhere. And so that's when I was like, fuck, all right, I got to look into it more. But let me build this page up and get the thing popular first and whatnot, and send the book to a few people and have them proofreading it, whatever. And try to find all the flaws that we can. And it's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be in the cool guys club. I even tried to be the whole time. I'm really not trying to just become friends with guys with lots of subscribers and stuff. I genuinely like Neil. You know, I genuinely think he's a cool dude. I think Stephen Cross Bible is a cool dude. And I mean, he might have said stuff about Tiger Shark, but it's probably he's unprepared to talk about you. So he.
So here's my if Neil does watch this, or for the guys watching this now, you know, I don't like to start things, but when somebody starts shit with me, I'm not gonna just run away and find myself in a hole. So things will be said, and it's not gonna be like Amin and Neil does that, you know, stupid drama stuff. It's gonna be me just, like you just said, calling out people when they say something and
just find it, and
just say, no, that's wrong, and here's the actual evidence. I just dropped another one, so here's in Amin's defense, because that paper that I dropped in Nature was 2017. Good. I dropped another one where this was a paper from 1979. So this mollusk in the Jewish incense ingredient list, it's been known about. Yeah, so Amin probably, I don't know if Amin directly cites this at all, but we've known about this for a while.
Right. Well, I mean, once you learn about it, then you learn more about it. But if you've never learned about it, then you've never learned about it. So I did have this theory with my mom, and it was some people, if they haven't found it out first, they push back immediately because there's this. And I'm not saying any of our friends or Myth Vision or Gnostic or my mom or anybody actually has any condition like this. So what I'm saying is some people are so well learned that if they haven't heard of something, they can't believe you. Like their brain is just like, no, I haven't heard of that. I've been looking up this stuff for 30 years. And it's like, well, what if it's true though? Like, you know, I'm not trying to say that. I mean, the stuff we're looking up isn't insane. We're not talking about like, you know, making all physics not actually work for a theory to be true, like a flat Earth thing or something. Like we're talking about just purple dye being used as a drug or an incense or something. That's nothing crazy about that, apparently, or it just doesn't seem crazy to me, at least. So the onycha, ingredient of the ancient Jewish incense. Is my screen sharing well? Okay. Published 1979, volume 33, pages 233 to 236. All right.
I can rip that actual paper off of ResearchGate, but I have to do it on my computer because I have access to that.
I don't know if I have access to ResearchGate, but the university I go to
you should actually. Yeah, you should.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot of, and I just did a course on how to utilize all of the university's resources. And
what do they call it? Like Scholar or something? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Open Scholar or something. Yeah.
Yes, I have it's the software program Canvas. It's that platform, but all these links go to these, you know, meta-analysis or rat studies or anything you're looking for content. And so there is, and I have to bring my wife on to do some of this stuff too. But so where are we at? We're looking at, I can't find the article, my bad.
Well, yeah, you're not going to be able to download it on here. You could do it through your your student
So
account.
it's just showing me the information. It's not the
yeah,
actual.
I'm just showing you the title and stuff so you can go get it. Or I can get it and probably drop it in a Discord, actually.
Okay. Well, everybody here, you got that. If you got access to any of the university stuff, type all this in, and we will all do that too on the back end, because like I said, this ended up being a Quest for the Burning Purple Part 2, which I love, all right? Because I never know what these live streams are going to turn into. And sometimes after the live stream, I'll go and rename it, because we haven't talked about anything related to Captain Planet except for my rock and mullet. So I want to make sure we do this Part 2, and we talk a little bit about it, because I got some articles from Era Sophia and Stone Bible Studies, and I loved them, because I was like, if any of y'all can find anything on this, then this is what we have to bring up. And I think personally that we'll have that Part 3 with the guests of honor, with Gnostic and Cross, and we're going to pull it all up, and then we talk about it after reading it, and we try to convince each other it isn't what it is, or vice versa, whatever. You know what I mean? So transparent. I don't give a fuck if I'm right or wrong. I just want the truth in the end. I put my neck out there and done all this shit just to show people, just to get it going. If I didn't do this, I wouldn't be getting this collaboration right now, writing this book, considering motherfuckers don't want to email me back with the sources that they talk about on their YouTube channel. It's like, fine, I'll make a YouTube and I'll look for it myself. And all I did was piss them off. But like, all I wanted was a response. Even Gnostic Informant will respond to my emails before he knew me. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, look at this. Like he's cool. And I hate that we have the battleground, but how fitting for the Gnostic war veteran here and many others in the chat.
Well, here's
the gauntlet.
Here's another angle of it. So Gnostic even said this on his live, and I think his main contention is with what Amin is saying is about the kid stuff, right? That's his main contention, is about the kids, right?
It's the biggest eyebrow raise.
Yeah. So and his claim is that he goes, well, if this isn't true, then Amin's whole stick is a failure. And I don't believe that. I think that, and then he also says, another thing I don't like is he always says, well, we know they're doing, and Myth Vision does the same thing. We know they're doing drugs, but then he denies it. Other places he denies it, on chats and everything. He's like, well, this scholar says they weren't doing it. And I'm like, dude, so what side of the fence are you on here? And if you're on the side of the fence of the drugs being a big part of this mythology and creating a lot of this, then why don't you say it? And why don't you talk about it? And why don't you bring people on that can talk about it? The only people he's had so far is like Ruck and Amin, that have been with Amin, with Neil before they got in a fight about it. But the big part of these papers is that you have to look at in theogeography, okay? And you have to pull it out of the text, and it's absolute finding the archaeological record of the drugs in these locations, but it's also finding the relative information around it, including some of the text, the stories, and putting them together. And here's one good example. There's actually two that I called out, and I'll just give these are my own theories, and these are my things that I'm piecing together. So in a lot of the surrounding texts, like the Acts of Paul, Alman actually pulled that text up on his last live. And in the Bible itself, Jesus is curing somebody with dropsical, with dropsy. What is dropsy? It's excess water. So you look like you're swelling up, like your wife is pregnant right now. Pregnant women have an excess liquid water in their bodies, in their tissues. So they get plump, right? Yeah. It's not all fat. It's water. That is dropsy, essentially. But if you look up how people got dropsy in the past, it was from cancer would cause dropsy and other things.
Malnourishment.
One of the other ones, my friend, is drug use, opium. Really? Side effects of opium. So he's curing people that have dropsy, right? That my contention is that because they're in the church and that people know Jesus, they're these people. So it's in the Acts of Paul, and it's also in the Bible that he's healing one of these people. Right. He himself, Jesus, when the Roman centurion stabs him on the cross, right? What did they say that came out? blood and water. Blood and
Oh,
water.
does it?
Yes, and all of the Christians go, oh, that's the man, that's the living water. See, he's not a man, he's part God. No, my friend, he had fucking dropsy from doing drugs.
Do you know which of the gospels refer to the? Because not all of them are the same. Some of them are missing little details and stuff.
Sure, no, I'll pull it up. It's John 34:17, I think, off the top of my head.
John. See, the cool thing about John
No, it's
is
not.
it. Oh, it's not.
No, it is John, but it's not 34. I'll find it.
Okay. John was like a little more polished and refined.
It's John 19:34. And of course, people are going to say, you're just reading into it. Not really, bro. I mean, these are the side effects of the fucking drugs. Do you think Jesus had cancer?
I do want John 19, you said?
John 19:34.
Okay. I do want there to be breadcrumbs of entheogens. I want that
It's
to be
everywhere,
there.
dude.
Like I wanted it before we ever looked up stuff. I wanted it to be true, but it was more so I just couldn't explain the whole sacrament thing. It was like,
Oh,
I was like, there's got to be something there. I was just like, how the fuck can it not be?
I'm going to send you.
Nobody drank wine that was just wine and thought anything.
Speaking in tongues. Do you think somebody drank fucking cooking wine and started speaking in tongues? Get real with yourself, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I'm at crossbible.com. All right,
Ain't
19,
that the truth?
31.
John 19:34.
34. Okay. The soldiers therefore came and broke the legs of the first man who had been crucified with Jesus, and then those of the other. But when they came to Jesus and found that he was already dead, they didn't break his legs. Instead, one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, bringing a sudden flow of blood and water. The man who saw this given testimony, and his testimony is true. He knows that he tells the truth, and he testifies so that you may believe. These things happened so that the scripture would be fulfilled. See, I feel like I see this a lot in the Bible. When they came to arrest him in Mark 14:51, he goes, "Daily I was with you in the temple preaching, and you not lay hands on me," so that the scripture would be fulfilled. And no one of his bones will be broken.
All right,
Not one of his bones. Sorry. Yeah, there's the water.
let me take you guys down this other path with me, and I'm going to bring up other sources, okay?
Yep.
And where I'm coming from is the entheogen use, the side effects, and the medical. And this is really what I wish Amin would do, because he does have a background in the medical. And I wish that he wouldn't just. So my contention with I love Greek, and I love that you guys are doing that. But my contention with the Greek text is that, how do you know it's true, right? How do you know 100% of what they're saying at all times is true? We don't, right?
Yeah.
And really, we're finding different stories and different meanings for stuff. And one of which, I think I still have it open here. Let me pop this open. Yes, so the Apocryphal Acts of Paul, Peter, John. This one gets into what the purification ritual actually is of Jesus and these early Christians. And they explain so they're talking about food from heaven, right? And I have peer-reviewed literature from actual PhD academics that Gnostic Informant doesn't talk about, that Myth Vision doesn't talk about. They usually just run to the books that people sell on Amazon, and some of them are academics, but these are like peer-reviewed literature that I've started reading.
Yeah.
And not only Jesus and the Christians, but a lot of the early Gnostic groups were saying the same stuff. And what do they say? It's very interesting, because that whole Genesis story, they say is 6,000 years ago, right? But when they talk about food, that food came from heaven, and man was eating like an animal, but that Jesus Christ brought the food from heaven, and man was not eating the food from heaven. That's a purification ritual. And it's even in these other writings, the Acts of here, but let me get to that real quick. So if you're somebody that thinks that goes, oh, all they're talking about is wheat, just wheat, and they're talking about the cultivation of wheat, and basically Jesus just taught the guys how to cultivate wheat, you would be dead ass wrong. You know why? Because they were cultivating wheat in the Mediterranean 4,000 years prior to that. Okay, so those two things don't line up. But what does the 6,000 year ago line up with? I posted it before. We can track the opium movement from Iran and Afghanistan coming down that early proto-Silk Road, if you want to call it, into the Mediterranean and into Asia and into Europe 6,000 years ago. And we know this not by one site, but by like 30 sites that we found in the archaeological record. So,
Oh wow!
my friend, is drugs. It's not fucking wheat. They were already cultivating that. So, in line with that, then we start talking about the purification. Well, what is the food? And they even say it in the Bible. The food is for purification. And let me just read you one passage here from these books here, the Acts of Hebrews and all this. So let me get to the.
I muted you, Marcel, just because your mic is so sensitive. No offense.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right. I was looking at, okay, so real quick, while Tiger Shark's pulling that up, I do want to address a question. So Flesh Your Face is asking, who was that Neaniskos appointed to Jesus in the garden at his arrest? Well, if you want to look at the Bible as a continuity story, earlier they talk right after he talks about eunuchs becoming eunuchs in their mother's womb. The eunuchs become eunuchs because they for their master, and some for the kingdom of the heavens. I'm paraphrasing Matthew 19:12. After that, he talks about blessing the children, everything from Media to Brethis to the same age ranges of Marakion. And there's Aeneas there. And he says, well, what do I have to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? Now, it's been written as Neanias and Neaniskos. And Stephen from Cross Bible was explaining that some people were using Neaniskos for all of the terms diminutively as almost an endearment, but that they had switched to using Neaniskoi at the time. And so there's a discrepancy with this gutter Greek from these rabbis copying Homer. They're going to sometimes they could call him a Neanias in this chapter and then later call him a Neaniskos, but to them, they're still saying the same thing. So as a continuity story, that could have been that wealthy kid that was asked, say kid, let me be clear, that wealthy teenager, post-pubescent, the age of somebody, it says he was a young ruler or the heir apparent to someone who had a lot of money. And so that Neanias or Neaniskos, that could have easily been the guy in the story later, if you want to look at the Bible as a continuity story. And arguably, in the end, when Mary goes to the tomb, or the three Marys, or whatever variation, because each gospel is different on the resurrection, the pre-resurrection discovery. There is a Neaniskos in, I believe, one of the chapters, but it might be Mark. And but now it's clothed, obviously, because it's daytime. If you want to look at the story as continuous or continuous, however you want to word that. Sorry, I'm not an English guy, but that would potentially be him. Now, right after that, we do have, I don't understand by appointed, where did he get that? So I think the word that we're talking about here is sunikoluthi. So kai Neaniskos tis sunikoluthi peribiblaminos sendona epigamnao. So that the word sunikoluthi, Amon says, means assigned or appointed, or just me joking around, when you have a guy on the team up to bat, he's, that's describing that his.
It's like the guy. It's like the guy on deck, like the batter on deck who's about to go up.
He's the one. Like, no offense, if y'all want it to be a sock cock, go ahead. But the dude is in a holy cloth like this, as far as Antonio Di Corrigo is concerned. Now, in his picture, it's red. In my mind, it's the same fucking purple thing they put on the motherfucker when they beat the shit out of it. They put it on him. You know what I'm saying? So if you're wearing the holy piece of cloth, not only that, it does say in Mark that all that were with him fled. Even though they don't have the Neanias or the Neaniskos earlier in the chapter, all that were with him fled also makes me think that there was more than one. But this was just the guy that was in the middle of getting oil poured on him when he had the shit around him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, then they interrupted him and he's just the one who stayed. Everybody else scattered. So you could easily interpret that scene as there being more than one naked dude in the garden. And so if you wanted to, yeah, he had people guarding and stuff. But
yeah, you could reach for that. From
more
my
so than
perspective,
it's a sock cock.
Yeah, I would assume everyone fleeing is saying that it's all the disciples who were asleep.
Right.
The people
right.
who were the people. But I mean, I could see how you could pull from it what you just said.
Like they don't mention the boy earlier either.
Yeah.
So for all we know, it could have been a 3 or 4 dudes. I don't know.
So Ahmed actually in the last live brought this up because he said that Jesus himself paid the tax for the kid, and apparently in the temple, if you're younger than 20, they would think that you're not old enough to pay the adult tax. So he said that was another piece of evidence to show that the Peter was younger than 20 at least. I don't know. I'm not getting into all that shit, but that's just.
I thought Simon Peter was 19, and I thought the rest of them were like younger than that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that John was a Marakion, a Briefis, a younger.
Yeah.
They considered him, they kept calling him the boy in the non-canonical modern day book, The Secret Gospel of Mary Magdalene. I use that because it's a fun read. It's nothing about it is, I don't have anything. I don't have any of the sources that Michelle.
But some of these are old as fuck, bro. Like this, okay, Pseudo Matthew 7th century, right? But the other one, Proto James, is like 150, right? I mean, that's like there, and so here's the other one. This is in I don't know if you call it Pistis Sophia, but it's Pistis Sophia, page 249, second book, and it's identifying what the purifying mystery is of these early Gnostic groups, right?
Roger.
And here it says, I say unto you, the human race kind is of matter. I tore myself asunder. I brought unto them the mysteries of light to purify them. For they are the purgations of all the matter of their matter. Otherwise, no soul in the whole of humankind would have been saved, nor could it have been inherited the kingdom of light, unless I had brought unto them the purifying mysteries, the drugs. Now the light emanations have no need of any mystery, for they are pure themselves. But the human race hath need for purification, for all men are purgations of matter. For this cause I said unto you aforetime, they that are whole need no physician, but they that are sick, that is to say, they that are of the light have no need of the mysteries, for they are pure light powers. But the human race hath need of them, for men are purgations of matter. That's the whole fucking, and this is not just this one book. This is found in multiple books that these scholars that I just mentioned that are writing these papers, that Gnostic and Myth Vision, if you think you're getting a lot of information there, you're not. You're really not. You're scratching the surface, and they're sitting there, well, this guy said this and this guy said that. Enough of that, because these scholars actually start linking a lot of that together in these peer-reviewed papers, which is how I came and stumbled across this. And how that purification, it's a purification ritual, which is found all over the world, from China to North America, to South America, to India, to, the Nordics. I mean, they're all doing purification rituals.
We got Chase.
What up, Chase?
Hey, look at you guys. I'm out here sawing doors down, and you guys are doing cool shit. So jealous.
We're all coming to Florida.
Cool. Yeah.
Guys, if you're not familiar, I did an interview with Chase for the viewers watching. He is a business owner, entrepreneur, and he is a movie director. And so anyway, Chase, what's going on, bro?
I'm enjoying the conversation, man. I think even when there's like points, I think with this whole Burning Purple searching phase, when there's points where I'm like, I think they're down the wrong track, because I myself, like about a year ago when I was working construction in North Carolina, I came upon Almond, and I started doing like a deep dive too. I just you posting it and seeing you guys go through the process is really interesting. And I'm not saying I discovered anything that you guys haven't, or you guys are showing me all kinds of new stuff, but yeah, this is like, I think this is really good for everybody to see the process of like exploration. And the thing I wanted to like add about it is there's a couple things. There's one, just from being a filmmaker, understanding that the things you show people evokes the story in someone's head. If I show you a deer, then I show you the wilderness, then I show you the hunter, you go, oh, the hunter's after the deer, right? But that's all evoked in your head, right?
Right.
And it's like magical, right? But I think that's how language works too. These are mouth noises we make. These are symbols you put down on paper, and the direction they point you in, the reality or whatever that is only experienced maybe through the process or whatever else. So all of that stays when you get caught up in the technical obsession with like trying to define a word or a thing as the specific truth with like a capital T. Right. It becomes, I think, like difficult, or maybe, it's like maybe kind of like a fool's errand sometimes, where we want to know what the real logos is behind what's being communicated. What direction is this shining light on, and how do we know? And so when I see all the symbolism in the Bible, when I see whether it's this or that or whatever else, but what is, as a whole, all of these cultic texts, what are the direction are they pointing to? And I grew up evangelical, so it's like you have kind of like this binary of like, well, it's all just these peaceful people that are accessing the Holy Ghost, and it's these really metaphorical stories with burning bushes, snakes, kids, and I don't know, all kinds of stuff, right? It's either it's all a fairy tale or there's something else going on, And so I don't see, I guess sometimes, like the need to like lampoon. I mean, Almond's a hot rod right now, right? Because he just is. But like, I don't see how like, oh well, there's definitely, I don't see a Burning Purple anywhere, even though you guys are finding it. So the whole direction he's pointing in is bullshit. And you're like, well, then that means I have to believe the other thing, which is just like, this is all kind of like metaphor that doesn't really fit together or make sense and all that other stuff. I don't know if that makes sense. You guys are a little more warmed up mentally, so that might kind of inspire. But like looking at the, are we ever going to know the absolute truth? I'm not sure. But like, what is the direction of this whole thing moving? What is it actually portraying, and how is it connected to like what Target starts talking about with all of these drug trades and all these other stuff? That starts to line up like in a lot of other things. And I don't know if we're ever going to know exactly what they were doing. And then the second thing is, when I was evangelical, I was in a very dramatic form of it. We're talking holy rollers, like speaking in tongues, prophets coming through the church. There was one instance when I was in a youth group where they had the Holy Ghost in the room, right? And I was like 14, and there's like, everything's dark. There's music playing. It's very like, now that I think about it, kind of sexual, right? But it's like rhythmic music. And then people are like speaking in tongues and getting really like theatrical and dramatic. And one of them, they circled around him and he started like crying out in pain. He went through this like theatrical birth. And they say he's giving birth to the Holy Spirit, and he's on the ground holding his stomach. That's not, it's not his, it's like he's mimicking like a theater, and he's like, and it was all these like, cries of like, like it was really sexual. So like experiencing all of that, to see the echoes of a group of people that got access to those texts during like the Gutenberg press or whatever else. And then all these different things came out, and they somehow are just coincidentally mimicking some kind of sexual rite. When you step back and think about it, it's like either that's connected in some kind of weird way, that they somehow found that and it spoke to them without the drugs, right? Either that, or it's just this giant fucking coincidence. And you're like, how the fuck, like, how would this line up exact? You know what I mean? And then one of my pastors at the time, when I wanted to read more about the Bible, told me, yeah, there's some stuff in Greek, but don't worry about that. Those Greeks just, they were nasty. They just came up with some nasty stuff and whatever else. And he also told me beware of drugs because they're the gateways to they're the back door to the spirit realm.
Right.
And we only want to go through God's way. And so like, anyway, in hindsight, now I'm like, holy shit. So he might have even kind of known something, but maybe not to the extent of what everybody's talking about. But the fact that all of those subjects are all lined up in this whole thing, it's just like mind blowing to me. And I think that there's a lot there and a lot to be learned. And anyway, I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Let me take a crack at this first. So we have to use rules of evidence, right? So we have a lot of people on different channels saying a lot of different shit. They'll read one text and they'll say, "Oh, it must be this," and they're doing this eisegesis, reading into it, exegesis coming out of it. What we're doing, Witch Doctor, myself, Marcel, all the guys on Discord, a lot of guys in this chat right now.
Oh yeah.
We're looking at not only what they're writing, but we're looking at the hard physical evidence, and we're actually triangulating in different texts and triangulating in different archaeological records. Because let's just take a ball. And if I had a ball and I took 1 point and I said, okay, can that 1 point identify the whole ball? No, it can't, right? It's just one little bit of information. We are triangulating multiple bits and sources of information. Amon's doing the same thing, but he's primarily sticking to, although he does bring up the archaeology. We're doing, I think, a little bit at a more advanced rate than Amon is. I mean, we have these articles we're bringing up that are peer-reviewed scientific literature. In conjunction with it, what I'm doing, even though I'm not a Greek scholar, I don't read Greek, I don't pretend to, and I'm not going to learn it. I'm looking at all of these peer-reviewed articles on the actual gospel texts themselves. Here's one that I just was talking about. It's the Gospel of Philip, the Valentinians, the Nicolaitans. This is why it's important. And Amon was dead on, spot on with this. And this is, and Myth Vision and whoever else that they want to argue, this is the truth right here. Nicholas, okay, is quoted by like 5 or 6 different church fathers themselves, Irenaeus and others, saying that he was the founder of the Nicolaitans, right? The guys that were doing the semen, Eucharist, right? That they mention in Revelation. So in Revelation, they knew about it. Where else were they mentioned? They were also mentioned in Acts. And in Acts, they talk about the first 7 deacons selected for their church, for the Christian church itself. The first ever 7 deacons, and Nicholas was one of the 7. So if you're going to track Christianity back to its roots, that's it. This isn't people going, well, this is pseudo-Matthew written in 7 AD, 700 years later. It's worthless. It's just people making shit up. He's going, this is why I have a lot, like, witch doctors like, well, some of it's got to be true. Absolutely. Because you're tracking it to the fucking source. One of the first 7 deacons is doing this shit.
Like, something's got to be real in all that. I mean, only because
100%.
There are plenty of people who are good at school, who get PhDs in various things, or even full-blown medical degrees in various things. I've known people who, were that level of degree attained, and the lives they lived and the things that they did, or even the jobs they had outside of those careers, would make you wonder how the hell this world's still turning and not a crazy place. Not completely bonkers. I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, you guys are doing great, by the way. Like, all of that, like, word vomit, that's what happens when I'm just quiet working. I'm listening to a whole bunch of shit in my head. I don't want to. But you guys, I love, like, watching you guys go through this process. So it's not about, I don't judge it as, like, I think maybe that's the problem. Like, we're caught in a framework of, like, someone's got to have the absolute truth. It's got to be absolutely correct. And then we move on to something else. Whereas, like, this is a giant new world that's being unearthed, and you guys are going through it, and you're allowing us as the audience to go through it with you. And like, you bump around in the dark and then find little pieces of light and all this other stuff, and so I think you guys are doing the right way, as opposed to setting out, making an episode about how, screw Amon, or how screw the other guy, or how, like, that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I connect with his personality a lot, because a lot of the things that he acts like, I do too. there's things about his personality that I am exactly like. And for some reason, probably a narcissism thing, I'm attracted to it. So I like how he's got these golden apples. Now, here's the thing that's changed. Since having, experiences, I've started to not be like that as much anymore. And now I'm much more try to find the answer and the peace and all the, I don't know. People could probably disagree with that too. I'm sure I say things that kind of contradict each other from video to video, probably based on how much I slept the night before. But I just like being transparent about it, because like I have never tried to pretend to be a Greek dude. Everyone knows what my career used to be and what I used to do and how I'm just now getting into this. But I feel like everybody can potentially connect with me and relate to me, because I don't know everything. So I'm actually looking at stuff to make sure that I'm not making an ass out of myself when I write this book. So writing the book's like the ultimate commenting in the comments. You're known for everything you say and everything you've talked about in the comments until you start making the videos. And then you're just known for this. Well, now that I have shifted opinions on some stuff, I'm like, you know what? I got to get rid of the old PowerPoint videos. And I took them all down just to flex, like, nah, I don't need them. I'm going to redo them with all of y'all. So I want to get all of y'all on for the part 3 of the quest for the burning purple. And this is when it becomes the octagon. And I bring on everybody from everyone that can come on with the channels and without the channels, but limit it to only a few of each, and have everybody kind of duke it out with the sources right here and just see how it goes. And I think that everybody's talked enough now to where we'd have a really good episode. We've interacted with everyone who would be on here. But also we have to formally give an invitation for when that day comes. Lady Babylon, you might not like me anymore, but you have an open invitation to be a part of that episode. And so it'll have all the people, So if you're interested, you have my email. We've done it back and forth. Send me a thing saying that you'd love to come on. Tell me, and I'll tell you what kind of dates that we can look for to have that on. And I would love for you to meet Tiger Shark personally, Chase, Marcel. They've all been big fans of the work and stuff. So I appreciate it, bro, coming on. This has been great, for sure.
All right. So I'll head out so you guys can keep her rocking, and I can keep sawing this door. I guess the one thing, so wherever any of that stuff leads you guys to think about how when they say Orphic Vox or voice, that there's a voice underneath all language. Like there's something that's being communicated in everything we do, and maybe getting wrapped up in thinking language is reality kind of can cause us to go down rabbit holes, but that also kind of enables control. And then the setup of believer versus non-believer. So that has framed a lot of my life, and it took a while, and it was hard. Like it still happens. You need a heuristic to determine things quickly. But it's like the idea that I either have to take everything as absolutely true on this side, or everything is not true, or you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of way of viewing something, I feel like clouds our ability to like communicate and kind of learn more about like the people we come from, and like how actually way more dynamic and amazing, and makes more sense that civilization would come out of people like this, other than the dark story of just like people were stupid back then, and then scientific method happened and we figured everything out, and now there's nothing, and it's just either meaningless or you believe in you get into a cult or something, you know what I'm saying, where like that hard-nosed determinism becomes nihilistic, closed off, or you become like a super juiced religious person or something.
You know what Terence McKenna said about Nietzsche, because Nietzsche was like nihilist. He was taking that pessimism and that nihilism and trying to make something out of it. Unlike Schopenhauer, he was actually trying to point to a purpose for humanity. But Terence McKenna goes, if Nietzsche thinks that his weird dinner party of nihilism was strange, he said he should come to my dinner parties. I think that's what these guys were literally doing, the Last Supper, right? They were doing some crazy stuff, right? And they're seeing some crazy stuff. They're getting inspired from it. And that's my whole position, from not only, so when the Western world talks about science, right, coming from Aristotle and all these other places. Of course, the Christians try to say it came from bacon, but the funny part about that is they killed Bacon. Literally, the church killed him. They imprisoned him for practicing science and philosophy, and he died in prison. So their own guy that was a Christian scientist, they killed. And they try to say he's the one that came up with science, but we all know it was way before that with the Greeks. But that's the Western world. Where do you think ayahuasca came from? You don't think Native Americans had medicine? They sure as hell did.
That's right.
They were doing observational science. They weren't doing chemistry and all this other stuff. They were, but early on when it first started, it was all observation and experience and taking it and then, passing it along right to others. And so there's two forms of science going on, although they get to the same result. They're using these entheogens to have these rituals and ceremonies and the whole piece. The other thing that Gnostic gets wrong all the time is he tries to say that the Greeks, the Demos Kratos comes from Athens. In the U.S., it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the Iroquois Confederacy in the United States, so much so that in 1988, Congress passed an act admitting it. The 13 colonies was a representation of the Iroquois Confederacy directly. They made treaties and pacts. You know who abolished slavery? The Lenape people, the chief
I didn't
of the
know that.
Lenape people. Yeah, 1718. So when Gnostic was going against Andrew Wilson, for example, in that modern day debate platform, and he just ended up conceding to Andrew Wilson that the Christians were the one to abolish slavery, complete a crock. The Quakers before that in 1688, there was one guy that tried to prevent slavery. His own group of Quakers ignored him and said, no, we're still going to keep it. So what happened was the Lenape people, the great peacemaker, and there's statues of this chief. He basically threatened war, and he said, if you bring slavery into the state of Pennsylvania, we are going to attack you and destroy you. And because of that, they went and he signed a treaty with Washington, my friend.
Mm.
Washington himself called him a king.
Wow.
Native American chief called him a king. To this day, I think is it May 1st or May 31st? It's his day. It's his day. And the government passed that law where we're celebrating this Native American chief for that. And so in 1718, he made that threat. And from that threat came the Underground Railroad, where they were bringing black slaves up to the north. So if it weren't for that, and this whole thing about this rap about Christians or even the Greeks, the Greeks are abolishing slavery. We're talking about the U.S. We're not talking about China, because it happened for like 10 years in China. It happened in India at one point, but then they brought it back. We're talking about the real revolution in this country and how it started. It was stolen valor, stolen history from the Native Americans themselves. Now, that's not to say all Native tribes, because there are some Native tribes that were totally doing slavery. We know that. But the one tribe and the one pack that started it was directly tied to the Lenape people of the Delaware region.
That's amazing. I have this. I mean, you're probably more well versed. I'm just like a science fan who reads science books, literature major, but I've read a ton of them and kind of have a grasp on evolution, I think. Do you think like the egalitarian model of humans, so like what you would say under Lady Justice, like Lady Justice is blind, the way of judging people by the evidence, like with their contributions, the evidence of their actions, not of what they say, that creates like a merit-based system that works with nature. So if your language and your thoughts are more connected to nature, like ancient Greek speaking people, like the Native American tribes that unfortunately have been like just toasted. And I wish we could really begin expeditioning more into their histories, that produces what we call civilization and like the things that we really like. So like if you're more in line with nature, you're going to survive better if you're egalitarian. Whereas if you're in your own head and trying to dominate or control, that you lead to apocalypse. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm like talking really hippie right now, but I just wonder, because you're saying like it's like all that. I didn't know that about those tribes, but that would make complete sense, because they're the ones that survived for however long before they ran into other people. And you wouldn't last long in nature in a group of 20 people if you were elevating greedy people who were good at lying and stealing to like find your food or direct the tribe to where to go. Your tribe would be toast, man. You'd want to start elevating who's good at stuff. Yeah,
and they lived. So they did live like that, and they even in a native nation, they have clans, In my own mother's side, the Meskwaki, there's three clans. We're part of the Thunder clan, but we also have Turtle clan, and we also have the Bear clan. And the Bear clan were like, chiefs would alternate, and the Bear clans were more about like, we're going to war, like that's how we solve our shit. The Turtle clan was more about peace, and like the Thunder clan was more peaceful, but we were more like the shamanistic medicine men, to be honest. And like my native name means like when a lightning comes and strikes a tree, essentially. That's that's what the translation of it.
That's your name?
That's my actual native name, yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. And dude, and so your tribe, all those tribe names are an action. It's evoking a feeling or a force. It's not just a linguistic label, right? That's how they all work. Dude, I mean, that right there is like makes me like they understood language. Like they understand like what it's actually doing and why they would give you those names based on maybe what they see inside of you or see you do. I mean, it's amazing.
We have evidence of your direct question, and they did have treaties, but here's the problem. And everybody wants to point to the Boston Tea Party and the taxation without representation. That was the cause of the Revolutionary War. It was not. The cause of the Revolutionary War was that George Washington wanted to do a land grab. So what happened was the native nations actually had treaties with the British. Washington knew it. So Washington said, the only way I can get the land grab and get the resources from the land is to break that treaty with England. That's why he did it, and that's what the Revolutionary War was about, my friend. It was nothing about all that other shit.
Dude, man, are you thinking about doing any kind of videos unearthing like how Almond and other people are unearthing the lost, I guess, like history of ancient Greek speaking people? Maybe that would be cool to do for these native tribes to bring back that voice and like dispel any fairy tales about what people think they were or what they are capable of, like
I think he needs to start the channel. I think he needs to start that.
Yeah, no, I'm planning on doing that. Yeah.
Luckily, you already have a YouTube that you've already put videos up and everything, like from the past and whatnot. So everyone knows your name, So that's a start. Nobody knew who the hell I was, when I made my channel. I had to kind of annoy everyone until I finally got them to see it. But I'm excited to see where your channel will go. I think it will go further than mine, honestly.
I'm not doing it for views or money or anything. I'm not out here like Myth. Hey guys, I need a bigger house. Give me money.
Yeah. It's we're all. I mean, I don't know. Having worked in entertainment in my earlier part of my life, it is a strange phenomenon. I try to feel for people. I feel like the fame game or whatever it is we're existing in, it's trickled down into the YouTube world. So it's like these mini boom and busts, and like people are paying attention to you. I think that changes your physiology. So like Myth Vision, Gnostic Informant, like there's quite a few others. Like I really appreciate all y'all for like putting yourselves out there, putting shit out there, and being passionate about this stuff. Even when we disagree and or like whatever, have different contentions and stuff, and I think everybody should. I don't know. I want to also pay respect to Amon Hillman because the only reason all of this is sparked open is because he had the balls to get up there and start saying something. And I don't know him for sure. I'd love to talk to him. I'm sure he's a busy dude, but like. From my point of view, it's like something must have happened, or maybe it's just a thing where he realized that academic way of being respectful and coming out and like giving evidence or like doing that thing. Cause I worked in academia for a couple of years too, like doing that proper channel thing. If that system actually was designed to elevate merit or like explore stuff and curiosity, it would totally work, but it wasn't. And so this personality began to come out of him, this act or whatever you want to call it. And that's how he's communicating to us. And we wouldn't have heard it otherwise. I don't think we would have, any of us would even be talking about any of this stuff. If he just got up there and was like, made a boring video, I'd be like, and this is where this is. And this is where this is. And then
never looked all this shit up.
Instead,
it almost makes me like, it's given me so much material, not to be fake as fuck. But if I talk to my grandparents, I have plenty of material to talk about that wouldn't be in that nature just from doing all the other research that I could bring up and talk about. So naturally, they know how I kind of am a little bit. I get Christmas cards with the Magi's on them. It might have even made me closer to my grandparents in a way because I'm so obsessed with the damn religion. And then when all of this came around, it was like, all right, let me look it up. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No. So, but yeah, hey guys, we're gonna bounce off. Jason, anything you want to say to the crowd?
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as all the, if any, get anything from the nonsense I was saying, be inspired, and then find inspiring people. I feel like Almond was one of them. You could hate him, you could love him, whatever else, but he's nothing can be said about him not being inspiring. I think, he is totally inspiring. So take that inspiration, go out and do something, go find something, go make something, explore for yourself. Like, yeah. And then also I'm working on, a short pilot that's going to be for that Gnostic Zone thing. We've got the actors casted. I have a tiny ragtag crew. It's very low budget, but
Nice.
I was at a show last night for their improv actors, and we had a meeting afterwards, and they're super stoked on it. We have a lot of really cool ideas. So I'm not really sure how long it'll be till it comes out, hopefully a month or two, but it's definitely going to be something to look out for. It's definitely going to be a little provocative up front, but hopefully it's a lot of fun and entertaining, and kind of gives a voice, or not a voice, I don't know, just kind of like contributes to this thing that's going on, and letting people know that, like, you don't have to just to be like how we kind of are. I think when we first got into this, like weirdos on our computer, like not really talking to people around us, like, Jesus is maybe doing what? Like, and then I'd be in other conversations where I'm like, I can't bring this up. And then I have to come on and talk to you guys or something, like keep it secret, like. So hopefully it contributes to like cracking this open, and I like the idea of a second Renaissance, because I think we got a weird world ahead of us. So like, let's make some cool shit. So
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, I appreciate it. We're gonna catch you soon on the next one. All right, bro.
all right, man. Appreciate you letting me on. Talk to you guys
Later.
Oops, I didn't mean to cut him out too fast. My bad. I'm like, click too early. All right, Marcel, anything for the congregation?
Oh, I was muted. Okay. No, I'm good. I just say thanks to everyone for coming out. Hopefully we can get these the 2.0 videos out promptly and sweetly. And I posted the Discord link just then in the chat. So if anyone's not there, you guys are more than welcome to come and join the conversation and stuff.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate it, brother. We'll see you again soon. All right. Tiger Shark, anything for everybody?
Yeah, so last thing I'll read is from the Gospel of Philip. It goes along with what I was saying with my drug theories, and it's about the Valentinian Eucharist. So I have a peer-reviewed paper all about Eucharist from all of the different Gnostic groups. In this passage here from Gospel of Philip, the cup of prayer contains wine as well as water, for it is the representation of the blood over which the thanksgiving prayer is made, and is being filled by the Holy Spirit, and that which belongs to the completely perfect human being. When we drink that cup, we receive the perfect human of ourselves. So again, another purification process.
Hell yeah. I was trying to look it up real quick, but I can't get it fast enough. Which
I'll
one
drop-
again?
So it's from a paper. Actually, the paper is probably more pertinent because it has not only that passage but a lot more. It's called The Eucharist: Its Origins and Context, and it's by a German fella. Came out in 2017. I can drop it to you, no problem, right here in the chat or on the Discord as well, so everybody else can go get it.
Is it more Siebeck?
It's it is by David Hellholm in Didier Sanger. So the sacred meal, communal meal in late antiquity, early Judaism, and early Christianity, volume 1 of 3. So it goes over all of this, and they're all lining up to the same stuff, and all these guys write about it. But it's basically a same thing I read in the Pisces Sophia, which is the purification process.
Here we go. Boom.
Yeah. Yep, perfect. That's the one.
Eucharist, its origins.
But I have the paper. You don't have to pay $114 for it.
Right. Just for those that want to check it out. Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, bro. We'll catch you again soon.
All right. Thanks, bud.
All right, brother. All right. Thank you, everybody. Been 2.5 hours. I didn't plan on going this long, but it ended up being a really great show. So usually I'll push the clock a little bit. But we found more of the Burning Purple. We had some friends of ours send us some articles that are posted in the posts on the YouTube page for the channel. And so what we did today was we looked at those, and the proto-evangelism of James seemed to be the hot topic for today. However, we did have some other references from antiquity on from Mandy Moorhall and whatnot. So definitely, if you watch this and you can see the live chat refeeding through, reading those comments will really help you. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, go back and look at the comments, and I hope this finds you well. We'll catch you again the next time. Peace.